Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Azakai here, bringing to you another video for Conqueror Blade, published by Porus Interactive. This is the update log for April 17th. Um, we have the maintenance for APAC going from 1400 to 1700 UCC plus 8, EU and AMS going from 0700 to 1000 UCC plus 1. So regular maintenance is expected to be 3 hours, 8,000 bronze coin, 300 honor, and 15 unit medals as compensation. Now, this is a re-record. I did miss out on something, and I'm really pissed about it, but going straight into it. Sealer Season Doctrine Dash event begins. We have Phase 1 being the Sealer Guard's shield throw stuns targeted units for 3 seconds. Phase 2 rewards Tiger's Fist reduces Mighty Slap's cooldown by 7 seconds. Phase 3 Horang reduces wind step cooldown by 5 seconds. Doesn't reduce the charge time, but I think the veterancy node does, so that's still a confusing thing. But don't pay too much mind of that. Top line is definitely better. 4, 5, and 6 all historical season doctrine selection chests. We have times 1. You can complete up to 30 challenges. Every 5 completed missions unlock 1 phase reward. Doctrine Dash includes 30. Doctrine Dash includes 20 missions, challenge missions by default. Warlords with an active premium account can unlock 10 additional missions. Doctrine Dash quests cannot be completed using Sovereigns. Quest completion time, April 17th after maintenance to May 4th, midnight. Midnight of May 4th? Yeah. New doctrines in the historical season doctrine selection chests. All of the old ones. Spartan ones is definitely one you definitely want to pick up. Helot one, strong. Helot themselves are really weak, but again, this buff is it's kind of huge, but I'm not sure whether or not anyone's really been able to take advantage of it. Attire chest rotation. The Supreme Simeon attire chest and the Avenging Angel attire chest are now available. So rotating in, we got the legendary spear attire, the golden banded staff, and the legendary longsword and shield attire. The angelic duality will have a limited time return. So we have April 17th after maintenance and April 28th before maintenance, so only about 2 weeks. We have progression pack rotation, limited time offer on 5-star historical seasons unit. Season Infantry Pack 3 includes Shield Maidens, Zweihander, Queen's Knight. I choose the Zweihanders, though I think the Queen's Knight's probably the strongest out of that pack, though. Zweihanders are not weak. Shield Maidens probably just get chopped up by both of them. Season Infantry Pack 2 includes Silidars, Varangian Guards, and Hashashians. I like the Varangian Guards, though I do like the Silidars as well. They're not my favorite anymore, considering how many times they got buffed and like what they've done with it. But regardless, I do think the Silidars are the strongest, though I do recommend the Varangian Guards just for fun. We have Season Infantry Pack 1 includes the Battle Battalions, Retiaris, and the Orochi Samurais. Orochi Samurais should be the strongest out of that pack, but I do like the Retiaris. I wish they get buffed, though. Season Cavalry Pack includes Keshigs, Chevaliers, and the Anyudao Cavalry. I don't like Cavalry too much, though the Anyudao Cavalries are the strongest. Chevaliers are cool, gimmicky, but again, like, all of them are Cavalry. I hate them. Well, I hate how cavalry works right now. Well, I've always hated how cavalry works, but that's besides the point. Season ranged units packed includes Valkynated Gunners, Siphonarios, and Houndsmen. Houndsmen are fun, and obviously Siphonarios are probably the best out of that pack. Houndsmen are probably going to be really good counters to the Harangs right now. Not that they're being used very much. Availability period goes from April 17th after maintenance to June 19th for maintenance. We have system adjustments and optimization. World optimize the name display rule on the world map. Member names of neutral and enemy alliances will now be hidden by default. Interesting change. So you won't be able to see people's name above their head unless you select them when you're in the open world, well, or on the world map kind of thing. So that's cool. Matchmaking. Simplify the entry for matchmaking. After this maintenance, some game modes will be closed. The expedition mode will be temporarily closed. Related quests will have their difficulty and requirements adjusted while retaining current quest progression. This change aims to relieve grinding pressure, giving warlords more room to enjoy a broader variety of content. As a classic PvE gameplay, Expedition is not gone for good. We plan to optimize and integrate it with existing PvE modes in the future. Um, if they wanted to reduce the grinding pressure, they should obviously. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, though. I am going to miss expeditions just for the novelty of them. I used to do a lot of them when they were much more relevant, but since bandits came in, that's how you got your EXP. And honestly, I don't wish this on anyone to spend most of their times doing expeditions to grind for EXP, especially since how easy they have gotten. Units have gotten so much more powerful, and um, it's just a different game. It's just a different game. Probably my rose-tinted glasses just blinding me at this point, but uh, feels like end of an era for me. Achievement optimize unlock conditions for achievement progress for ongoing achievements will not be affected. Units, men at arms and spear sergeant skill description update. Cover commander order soldiers to rush to the hero's side and form a guard formation. Upon activation, the unit gains 20% damage reduction and 15% increased damage dealt, both gradually decreasing to 0 over 4 seconds. Now, I'm not sure if this is referring to a passive, which while in Cover Commander, if men at arms or spear sergeants are take damage, they will receive a buff. Um, Originally, it was 60-45. It got later changed to 40-30, and it's over 6 seconds now. Spear sergeants was also different because it also triggered during formation and um, and on block. So that's one of the big differences that's not mentioned anywhere. But to put it simply, I'm not sure if this is new or is referring to that. Either way, this is well, sorry, not either way. There's two ways you can think about this. If this is a new effect, this is a buff. So upon activating Cover Commander, they receive these things on top of the hidden buff. If it's referring to that, this is a massive nerf because it basically halves the effect and reduces the duration to 4 seconds. So I'm upset yet again because if it's a nerf, they're hitting spear sergeants again for no reason. Um, but men at arms, yeah, pretty much. I think they need a nerf. Though it's kind of strange that they would nerf men at arms while Wu Wei and Paladins should also have a very high indicator, but Men at Arms should more or less have a higher consistency, probably because of the lower condition for their 3% healing. Um, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're looking to hit it again. The only problem I have is that these changes were not. These changes, if it is changes, or well, sorry, it's a change. It's a change regardless. This is either a buff, which adds a new effect, or a nerf to an existing effect, but the wording is completely different. Um, so that is a really big issue, and kind of neat. I'm kind of trying to find out what happened. But whether or not they'll answer me is another question. I'm just one guy, and I don't think they tend to get back to you, but probably way, way, way too late. Other bug fixes and optimizations. Fixed an issue where the Greyhair Garrison's longsword units had incorrect hit detection after charging. Great fix. Fix an issue where Laconic Javelins may block damage. I mean, random polearm units randomly block damage all the time, so I don't, I don't know why they fixed an issue. Why they fixed it? Because like they're really terrible in melee, or they were blocking range damage. So that could be an issue. Fix an issue where halberdier sergeants fail to properly trigger stand firm if soldiers left in their position. Always great to fix bugs. Like that bug would probably like I would yeah. Just fix bugs, man. Bugs are always just kind of the things where um, getting fixed regardless is just really good for the game. Fix an inconsistency in the Tiger's Claw skill buff for Nodachi now correctly grants 2 stacks of Bloodlust upon first hit. I didn't realize that it was inconsistent, though. I've always known. Everyone should know that it gives 2, right? It's always given 2, right? Oh man, I haven't played Nodachi in a while, so maybe I'm wrong about that. Fix a rare animation bug with Imperial Javeliers when using flying shields. Interesting. Um, Not sure what this is referring to, but it could be like some kind of weird parry thing. I can't even remember now. Do they get parried? I think they shouldn't get parried when they use the skill flying shield. I think they get parried when they use the normal shield bash. But hang on, wait. Fix an issue with Imperial Javeliers attacking normally while in formation after learning the shield bash. I think this one is where they use the shield bash while in formation, which looks weird. So I think they'll disable it afterwards. Not that it matters too much, I think. But yeah. That being said, I think shield bash is parryable. I'm not entirely sure about that. So yeah. Fix a timing issue with Zweihanders where Knight's defense had incorrect hit registration time during sweep. I believe they're referring to the second activation of Knight's defense, which is called Obliterate, which was called Obliterate. I'm not sure what it's called now. Knight's Defense is the brace skill, and then there's a second skill while you brace that activates a thrust followed by a sweep. So I'm thinking that the sweep is getting better hit detection. Really good. Still wish they swapped the hit limits around. I do think the stab should be 2, and then the sweep should be 3. Unfortunately, they have 3 on the stab, 2 on the sweep. Not how I would have done it. Again, the visuals just don't match up. But regardless, great that they're fixing this. Fix an issue where yellow dot indicator did not disappear after submitting surveys. Sure, I'm not sure exactly what that is. Probably I have experienced it, but I didn't report it. Fix an issue in territorial wars where the names of both sides displayed incorrectly in the pursuit pop-up. Fix Again, don't do territory war, so I wouldn't notice. I wouldn't know about this. Fixed a bug where some legendary limited time weapon attires made heroes unable to use skills after they expired. Really big bug. How they do legendary weapon attires is fairly silly because the visual effects are not tied to the attire itself. It's tied to the skills. So instead of layering visual effects on top of the attire, I mean like instead of layering visual effects through the attire, they made it so that the attire swaps out your skills for the given weapon um, to ones that has the additional effects, and this is really bad because um, well, not really bad, but like because of how it works. I'm guessing is that when the weapon attire expires and becomes unavailable, it doesn't unequip the skills properly, or doesn't replace the skills back to normal properly because it's an exception here. So it's it is a but it's like it's a predictable bug, but it's just like they definitely it's kind of one of those design things where how they've designed these things is a bug that they'll obviously have run into. That being said, I mean, I think to fix this, well, Maybe you can fix it. I'm not sure. But anyway, that's they apparently fixed that, so that's good. Fix a issue where graphical settings may not be saved properly. All right, fine. Um, Settings getting reset all the time, so that's not unusual. I mean, other games do it. Path of Exile 2 for me right now kept resetting my thing. Fixed an issue where using a, or maybe I'm resetting it somehow, so yeah. That's probably my bad. Anyway, fixed an issue where using a 4K resolution monitor caused abnormal unit icons when using Z eagle-eyed mode on the battlefield. Um, don't use a 4K resolution monitor, so those of you that do, probably mismatched where their locations are. So I do know some things are hard coded, but they're not dynamic to say the very least. So 4K resolution monitor might screw up visual locations of graphical elements for the UI, which is funny. Um, but yeah, fixes are good, and I do think that Grey Hair Garrisons, if they do fix the hit detection, I'm really, 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 really hoping that we get to see them a little bit more. They're actually quite strong, but they had an issue where they wouldn't deal as much damage as expected. So there's that. That is the update log. So as I said earlier, this is a re-record because I didn't realize there was a separate article for unit masteries and balance adjustment. So for those of you that joined me on the PTR, these should be the expected changes. We're going to read through them and I'm going to give my opinion at the end. Throughout it, I will mention some tidbits that I've learned from the PTR, but if if you want to read the original PTR patch notes and see for yourself which changes. Oh, sorry. If you want to know about the original PTR white papers, I do have a separate video on that. But these ones are hitting live in the upcoming update. So, new unit mastery launch. Daggerack Lancers. Base adjustment. Health is going from 6724 to 7224, so 500 health increase. Base piercing armor penetration 1378 to 1478. 100. We got a increase of 100. Base piercing damage 871 to 921, so 50 increase here. Optimize the prompt for the Rally to Me skill, displaying the remaining time of Rally to Me in the hero's status. The remaining time will not dramatically change based on the veterancy nodes for now. I'm sorry, what? Ooh, ooh, that's interesting. I didn't test that. I didn't even think about testing that. Some of the veterancy nodes actually increases the duration of the charge effect. Apparently, it's not going to dynamically change based on veterancy nodes for now. So that's a massive bug. That's interesting. Optimize the optimize the description of the active skill Rally to Me for Daggerack Lancers, adding the missing effect in the Rally to Me description, including the counterattack trigger when being attacked. Fix the issue where the improved stamina veterancy node for Daggerack Lancers were not effective, and optimize the description of the improved stamina. That's probably the increased charge duration. And this is probably not a bug that affected them previously because, well, maybe it was. But I'll explain. My experience of the new Rally to Me is different from live. Daggerack Lancer's Rally to Me on the PTR feels very different. It's hard to explain, but to put it simply, the one on live switches from charging and counterattack mode. Counterattack mode is caused when the Daggerak Lancers reach the hero or is stopped, CC'd, those kinds of things. Now, there are massive differences for either of these. One of the major important parts is that the counterattack mode is way stronger than the charge. And the reason being is that the hit detection, damage at low speeds kind of thing. The rally to me on the PTR works exactly how you would think it should have worked originally, where they're charging all the time. If they get stopped, they'll counterattack and continue charging. Now, pay close attention to this. That it's like they'll counterattack when they get attacked. No, that's wrong. They worded it slightly incorrectly. They won't counterattack just from merely being attacked. They'll counterattack when they get stopped. So, um, yeah, that's as simply as I can put it. I can't demonstrate it right now, but yeah, that's the deal with that one. So, great that they're fixing bugs again. Like bugs are pain in the ass for anyone. Though I'm going to say Daggerak Lancers, I don't like them. I've got PTSD from their counterattack because um, it was pretty much hell while they were strong, but it's just a lot of things. I don't like cavalry and how it's designed in the first place. And when Daggerak Lancers first got their counterattack, it was crazy powerful. It's still crazy powerful. Many people don't use it anymore. There are caveats to it, so it's not like it's weak. It's just other things. It's just gotten really much stronger, and I don't like how this game is going. Them getting this base adjustment, I think is okay. It just kind of optimizes a lot of things, and the base increase is unwarranted in my eyes, but it's not an unmanageable level. I do think all of these are major quality of life changes to the actual skill itself are not mentioned here, but it is different. I want to make that clear that the rally to me of the Daggerak Lancers is going to be different, and I think it's going to be weaker than it was previously. And that concerns me, but at the same time, it's it's weird. I want that to go through. I don't want Daggerak Lancers to be buffed. Um, but it's yeah, I'm very conflicted right now. I've always been conflicted. So, Mastery Node Introduction. Node 1, health increased by 390. Node 2, plus 100 on slashing, armor penetration. Node 3, slashing, defense plus 50. Node 5, slashing, damage plus 100. And obviously, this looks like it's going to focus on the counterattack because the counterattack uses slashing damage. Well, it should. Not 100% sure of that unless someone clarifies. Node 5, like a pine, during rally to me, gain 0.5 seconds of control immunity and increase damage by 15% when counterattacking. Oh, wait, hang on, that's fine. Um, oh, okay, that's like, uh, wow, okay. Um, that's actually really dumb. I'm actually super conflicted. Again, um, so Node 5 on the PTR originally should have been like a pine during rally to me. Um, gain 90% damage reduction for 0.5 seconds when counterattacking. They've changed it to control immunity and increase damage by 15%. The 90% damage reduction was pretty much overkill, to say the very least, but here's also the other thing. Um, there's a bug. There's a bug. I'm not sure if it's present in the updated updated rally to me because it's much harder to get the counterattack condition going. But if you have the reduce damage while charging on the Daggerak Lancers, the counterattack will receive an unusual amount due to this effect. I theorize it should be double the effect. So if you had the 40% one, it would be 80%. If you had the 50% one, it would literally just be minimum damage for anything. This is the unclear thing to me, is that I'm not sure if they fixed the bug with the rework or the minor rework, or whether or not the bug is still there. So I'm worried that if the bug is still there, it's pretty bad. This is going to be really bad. Um, but I'm I'm really confused now. Oh man. But let's take it at face value. It's not. I don't like the mastery. I think the mastery shouldn't have went through in the first place. Should definitely kind of a lot of these things I don't like. Um, Making them stronger during the counter attack, giving them CC immunity, fine, whatever. A lot of things have CC immunity now, but it just kind of guarantees the counter attack, and it makes sense logically. So let's just leave it at that. Otherwise, I'll just keep going ranting on forever. Node 6, 1000 March damage to melee infantry plus 300. I don't like specific types. If it's just going to be damage, just increase the damage by 300. Um, Again, like you should not need to specify the type, and I will always fight against these specified types. Node 7, Banks of the Han River, damage to shield infantry plus 300. Not only melee infantry, but shield infantry. So if you're a shield melee infantry, plus 600, and that's tragic, absolutely tragic, because there is no shield infantry in the game besides Spartan Chosen that is good against cavalry. Just straight out. Well, I take that back. Stalwarts, half half. It's still dumb. It's still dumb. My shield infantry, like, it says shield infantry. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be referring to tower shields, but maybe it also refers to buckler. It's very hard to test these things because they're just minor increases and decreases, but it's still a conditional bonus against certain types, and I don't like I don't like counter I don't like this counter logic. Cavalry in particular, they're they're basically crazy strong against anything that's not dedicated anti-cavalry or something that's so OP that it's CC immune and has CC out the ass. Node 8 is main banner flutters. After dealing damage to a 5-star unit, increase movement speed by 40% and damage to units by 25% for 2 seconds. Again, I don't like the conditional. It just means that this unit is a tier 5 counter, and this just going to exacerbate issues where tier 4 is going to be better than tier 5s, and you're going to have to use tier 4s to beat down other tier 4s before you can use your tier 5s, kind of deal. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. Rattan Marksman, base piercing armor penetration, um, going from 1148 to 27. Base piercing damage from 1005 to 1216. Both probably. So I'm guessing the piercing armor penetration got increased by 5%, 10% here, and an attack interval reduced by 10%. We're probably looking at maybe a 25% damage increase on the output itself. The poison damage should far outstrip the raw damage, but this is a pretty big buff to a ranged unit that should have a high indicator. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Rattan Marksman has kind of been left in the dust a little bit, but it's only because other ranged units are competing against it. And one thing about Rattan Marksman, because of the poison, they're actually better against higher tier units than they are against lower tier units. So they have value that is consistent across the tiers, which makes them extraordinarily dangerous to have strong. So they are focusing on their main damage source. So how they end up, it is concerning still. So I hope I hope they know what they're doing because I don't like to think that they're not. I'm still concerned about the poison and the debuffs because their value is hard to calculate. But continuing on, and probably one of the biggest issues I have with this update is the Kriegsrat Fusiliers. Base piercing armor penetration increased from 2614 to 2764. Base piercing damage going from 2698 to 2798. So that's an increase of 100 for the damage and 150 for the pen. Attack interval reduced by 20%. Base ammo increased by 150. Now, there is a problem that I kind of well, in my calculations for the Kriegsrat Fusiliers, for some reason, this attack this attack interval reduction did not reflect properly. Rattan Marksman, again, about 11% increase, kind of within line. For some reason, Kriegsrat Fusiliers are shooting like 33% faster. I didn't even calculate the extra piercing damage and penetration, but for some reason they're outputting 33% extra damage from the get-go. These guys are the strongest DPS ranged unit right now, outstripping the Imperial Arquebusiers by, I don't know by how much, but it's a lot because Kriegsrat Fusiliers were only behind around about 20%. 20% after full stacks of their mastery. And after this buff, they're going to out DPS the Imperial Arquebusiers, which notoriously has been the highest DPS ranged unit out of the generic types with their volley fire for a while now. Not that anyone used them, which was the other thing. Range is very hard to calculate in value, so 60 meters is not very far. But then again, musket units probably lost like 65, not 65, 35% of 36% of their damage at some point. I think it's greater than 50 meters or something. The base ammo increased by 150. It's probably the biggest change. One of their it's one of their most it's one of their biggest weakness, honestly. The 140 ammo, sorry, 150, the 450 ammo meant that they shot so fast that like you ran out of ammo in a minute. If they didn't have the ammo on kill, you would be going back to the supply point nearly all the time. Kind of like one of the only units where I'm just like, if you have a Kriegsrat Fusilier, having a Hellot Auxiliary with these guys is probably like extra value. Regardless, going on to Tertial Arquebusiers. Base piercing damage going from 2,488 to 2,748. Attack interval reduced by 20%. Huge increases here. My goodness, the flat increase, like this is 200. This is like, sorry, this is, man, I am bad at calculating right now. So this is an extra 260, 10% on the damage and 20% here. With we're probably looking at like a massive 33% increase in damage. And the funny thing is that they're not better than Kriegsrat Fusiliers. Like Kriegsrat Fusiliers actually are stronger than the Arquebusiers in terms of total DPS, which is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. There might be some other things I didn't calculate here. Veterancy is really important here as well because the base piercing damage could be multiplied. But putting in perspective, it is just funny that Tertials just did not end up um, becoming, well, getting a buff large enough where I think it's going to come back in. Though people will definitely bring these out. I have no doubt that they're going to bring these out. Kriegstad Fusiliers has, not to sorry, I forgot to mention, Kriegstad Fusiliers actually has this weird error or bug where they stop aiming at the target properly and have a really low hit rate in exceptional situations. I don't know exactly what's happening, but in practice, I feel like this bug might be on live and also be the reason why the Kriegsrat Fusiliers performance might be lower on their end. Again, this is like a lot of assumptions that um, Kriegsrat Fusiliers coming out the biggest out of the ranged units here. Tertiary Aquaviziers not getting the 3% on kill is very surprising. Good that it's not coming, but one thing I want to say is that I didn't notice that they fixed the melee of Tertiary Aquaviziers. So that's actually amazing. Um, but I wanted to see if they went through with the nerfs on Tertiary Aquaviziers. And what I mean by that, the melee on live right now roughly corresponds to their piercing damage. They do around about 3,000 damage on live right now. If it gets nerfed, it's going to be about half. PTR demonstrates that they nerfed the melee by half. I don't think it should have been nerfed. It's kind of one of those things where no one will ever use tertials in melee, and them being good in melee is supposed to be a lore aspect of the tertial arquebusiers, so it wasn't mentioned on the PTR, and not going to be mentioned here. I want to just keep an eye out for that change to the melee. But it's fixed, which is insane. For the longest time, tertial arquebusiers have been bugged, where their melee did not work properly because A, they canceled their attack a lot, and B, searched targets that were not the nearest target, or their targeting algorithm caused them to ignore targets who were standing right next to them. So it just the targeting algorithm just really shit. The um, the melee attack got cancelled nearly every single time. Iron Reapers suffer from this animation cancel. Uh, attack animation cancel thing, and they're still not fixed. They still cancel their attacks on occasions, though it's kind of fixed when you activate Tiger's Guile, and it kind of works out when they do their mini charge thing. But for the most parts, there's still a misfire, and it misfires often enough that I could I'm pr I'm pretty sure that it's just a solid bug. But yeah, um, that's for the ranged units. Now moving on to the polearm units, we have Imperial Pike Guard, disperse formation replaced with column formation. Piercing armor penetration going from 1455 to 1505, so just an increase of 50, though I think they should push that higher. Base piercing damage going from 1110 to 1360, big increase of 250, and like at least a 20% increase here. Will this matter? No. One thing that probably is really funny is I mean, someone else proved this, but the advance is actually blunt. The advance, I think, is actually woefully blunt damage. I can't be certain because I didn't test it myself, but someone explained that the blunt damage doctrines actually affect the advanced damage, not the piercing damage ones. So that is important to note. So these will not affect their strongest state, and the column formation will make things logistically better for the Imperial Pike Guard. Good change, though. Um, I will hope they look at the Imperial Pike Guards again, because just because like at this point, if you want to make them meta, you're gonna have to do more than that. Make them stronger, both tankier and deal more damage, especially during the advance. How are your sergeants? Hedgehog formation, otherwise known as Shieldtron formation, replaced with column formation, and column formation now has the active skill brace. I don't like this one. I liked I like disperse formation on the Imperial Pike Guards, but you can still have access to a version of it um, using the follow command. The Shieldtron formation getting replaced with column formation is not good at all. In my eyes, the Shieldtron formation was an important formation in open scenarios, though their strongest state is still phalanx. The other thing is that column, the 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 dimensional profile of column and phalanx is very similar. The column is narrower and more dense, but the general profile of the two are extremely similar. So I don't like the fact that column formation here is replacing Shieldtron. They should kept Shieldtron at the very least, adding column as a fourth formation if people wanted to use it, but they're going through with this anyway, so I'm quite sad. Hopefully they fix the issues with this one. It doesn't brace naturally, so you'll need to brace it manually. And I think it's only coded for 25 models, so I hope they fix that 26th model. Base piercing armor penetration goes from 1688 to 1888. Massive increase. Base piercing damage 1327 to 1407. A good increase, not as massive as the penetration one. But again, um, Our Sergeant's strongest state is phalanx, so the column formation was probably added mostly to make utilize their charge feature and kind of get them in a instant like a dense charge win scenario, which can be very strong. Unfortunately, because it doesn't rotate, um, it has a problem in open scenarios. So there's that. Anyway, Fort Brascio Garrison. I don't know why it's called Garrison here. It should be Fortebraccio Pikeman. Um, Base piercing damage goes from 1492 to 1592. 100 increase, pretty good. A 1/5 increase for piercing damage. Attack interval reduced by 20% while using brace. Huge increase though. It's still around about 3 seconds per attack. So I'm not sure on the logistics on attack speed here. Base piercing defense goes from 461 to 501. Slashing defense 432 to 452. Very minor increases. If you want to fix Fortebraccio Pikemen, make their brace same as Phalanx. And what I mean by that, give them same turn speed, give them the oh wait no, give them the same turn speed, increase their block break. Fortebraccios don't have very much block break. Shield units will just crunch them in a jiffy. Like a shield locking Fortebraccios damage is really easy. It's comically easy, in fact. Um, don't even need increases to block. I think even something as simple as Surf could charge into Vortibraccio Pikemen and actually reach them before getting block broken. But yeah, that's that. Fire Lancers, Fire Lance attack interval reduced by 20%. Base piercing damage goes from 1682 to 1832. It's very simple enough. Liao Ranger's base blunt damage 1485 to 1605. Base blunt armor penetration 1856 to 2006. Liao Rangers is really weird getting a buff like this. They're really strong, in my opinion. Can go toe to toe with all the best cavalry. Um, but I think it has a lower performance against infantry, which it's all cavalry technically specialize in, but Liao Rangers notoriously were the best and hasn't really been brought in line with the meta. So I'm upset that they're getting buffed, but I can see why they got buffed, but I don't want them to be buffed kind of scenario. So we might see Liao Rangers again on the field. Not that they were weak, say the very least. Winged Hussars reduce cooldown time for Hussar charge by 5 seconds. Base piercing damage 828 to 1028. Big increase. Base slashing damage 947 to 1097. I do think Winged Hussars are put on the lower side of things, mostly because human have a very high performance, and Winged Hussars don't offer as much. Of course, it has to do with the the cooldown of the charge itself. Realistically, I think they could reduce the Hussar charge down to 30 seconds, and that should fix a lot of the cooldown issues. The increase the damage should allow them an extra 1,000 damage, I believe. So they're going to be hitting what, 8, 9? Probably 9. Probably 9,000 damage on charge. I'm uncertain on the exact number. Could be pulling this out of my ass here. But regardless, Winged Hussars did get a massive buff. Whether or not they're going to be used is another question. They're just not as adaptable. Traditional lance chargers are just not very strong, and their secondary state after charge is not as strong as lance cavalry, mostly because lance cavalry have higher block break. So if you've been noticing, humans after charge are almost just as deadly as while they're charging. And it's simply because their melee attack after charging is super buffed because it becomes super similar to charge, and they'll just, well, I think their melee attack in general is like um, very similar to a charge, so they can just walk through units and just crush them. Winged Stars kind of does the same thing after charge. I'm not sure if it's the same thing all the time. I'm not very well experienced with Winged Stars on the field, but my experience against them is still a bit one note. Um, the lance charge is the most important part, but getting swiped by them is no joke. We also have Monastic Knights getting buffed for armor piercing penetration from 1670 74 to 1874, base piercing damage 908 to 1008. Um, and finally, Cataphract Lancers. This was not mentioned in the PTR, but probably should have noticed when I actually did use Cataphract Lancers. There was some optimization for the Rally to Me skill, and I think they reworked the Rally to Me skill, but I didn't clarify. I did not check. Optimize the prompt for Rally to Me skill, displaying the remaining time of Rally to Me in the hero status. The remaining time will not drastically change based on the veterancy node for now. Optimize the description of improved stamina veterancy nodes for Cataphract Lancers. Helot Auxiliary, base leadership reduced to 50. And that is all. Although I do have a lot of comments, I have left that to the devs to see. I'm feeling quite upset. I didn't want the Daggerack Lancer's mastery to go through. I think the Kriegsack Fusilier really needed to have another look at. Great that Rally to Me is getting updated, but I'm concerned about other things as well. I didn't want the Liao Rangers to be buffed because they have a very strong performance, and I use them all the time on free battlefields. The Helot Auxiliary will never be useful in hindsight. They're a logistical unit that relies on ranged units to be popular and use ammo at a rate where to continue battle they'll need a resupply. Unfortunately, with the DPS right now, they'll use barely any ammo to kill basically an entire unit. A ranged unit probably outputs enough damage to kill probably 5 or 7 units before they run out of ammo. Not including, well, Kriegsrat has obviously the ammo return on kill, so they could kill an infinite number of units without running out of ammo. But besides all that, I want to know what you guys think. Very short PTR period, and they forced it through. I, for one, really disagree with this direction. Buffing only causes more issues. I can see where they're going. I don't like it. And I seriously hope that they go back to nerfing units. Buffing units like this will only cause more issues down the line. We're getting into a stat bloat as it is. Um, all of these stats, particularly for the cavalry, are much has a much bigger knock-on effect that cannot be explained in the short time. But I hope you guys still enjoy the game. Hope you guys think this is good because soul buffs. And I don't know. I don't know where to go from here. I'm interested to just check out a few things, but I'm worried about the future for CB. And this just only indicates my oh, this only just reinforces my doomer mentality that CB is heading into, well, they've been in a death spiral for a long time. They can't seem they can't seem to get anything right for me, and I don't know why I'm still here. It's it's just one of those things where I'm just like, Am I still playing this game just because I feel like I have to? Or do I find it fun? So I'll leave it to you guys to think. Well, I'll leave you guys there. I mean, I don't know what I was expecting. I like feel like I want to talk to you, someone, about this. I feel like I want to just rant, but I'll just relax after doing this update. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and that I hope you guys enjoyed the video. But other than that, my name is Atsuko. Have a nice day. Bye for now.